Hey guys, it's Crafty Gold time again, and it's the last video of 2020. Well, technically it's 2021 when you see this, which it's 2021? What? Anywho, this is the last video for the Crafty Goals with Amalia 2020 collab, which is insane to me. We're actually here. If the lighting looks a little bit different today, it's because it is. I picked up a light for Boxing Day. I think the only deal on it was there was like a manufacturer coupon. I got it on Amazon. I will link it down below if you want to check this light out. I got it specifically for crafting purposes, but it's working out well for filming at my desk as well. That's the whole light. I have it on the lowest brightness that it can go to. It's very large. It was $51.99 and there was a $5 manufacturing coupon. It actually is bigger than I thought it was. I picked this up because it is wired. You have to plug it into a power source. And I picked it up to replace these lights from Dollarama. I got them for crafting purposes because the lighting in here is not great. And they have a really small footprint. And they're really great lights. And I've used them when I've done filming as well. But they eat batteries, something awful. So I'm like, you know what? That the money I'm spending on batteries, I might as well look into getting a desk lamp type thing. But I was thinking I was going to get something around this size. There's a slight difference. I'm really bad with dimensions, and even based on like the product photos, I had no idea it was this big. I figured it would be bigger than the Dollarama light. I did not figure it would be this big. So that's the brightest setting. It pretty much lights my entire workspace. You can rotate it. I think it rotates 360 degrees. You can also move this up and down. And this is harder to do because it's stiffer. But you can also move this around. So potentially if I needed like a long, low light, I could bend that one like all the way down and then like flatten that out. So like it's pretty versatile. There's 5 settings. It kind of defaults to the middle setting and then you can scale it down twice or scale it up twice. There are 4 different colors. This is obviously the reading. This one's more blue. This is the one I use when I'm actually working on stuff because it's like the closest to my light bulb colors. I just found the reading seems to translate better on my phone when I'm filming. Relax is like a warmer tone, and then sleep is like a red. It's like, you know, like the red light filters you can use on your phone or whatever. Even though it's much bigger than I anticipated, and the footprint is much, much bigger than I would have liked, I love the fact that because it is so big and it's flat, if I was working with, say, my double-sided tape and I had other stuff here, you know, I can put it there. It's not going to get in my way. It's not in the way of the light. It's not going to knock the light over. This is a very, very, very heavy base. It's stable. It's not going anywhere. I've just been leaving it here. I unplug it when I'm not using it. And even though it's got a huge footprint, it's really not taking up much space. And the amount of light coverage that I get and the amount of saving money on batteries that I'm getting is definitely worth it. One more thing before I get into the goals that I just wanted to address. I think my why I'm not giving my money to Michaels anytime soon video was potentially controversial because it's the first video I've gotten any dislikes on in a long time, which I don't really care about. It's still engagement as far as YouTube's concerned, but I also lost a couple of subscribers, although again, because YouTube is constantly purging old accounts or purging out bots or whatever, having a fluctuation of a few subscribers really isn't that strange, so it may not have caused me real loss of any subscribers, but it definitely seemed to have a bit of an effect. I think one thing that probably would have turned people off was that tweet of mine that was full of swear words. I just wanted to clarify that I did not swear at them in any official correspondence, like the email I sent through Michael's website did not have swear words in it. It was just the tweet. The reason I used the language that I used while tagging them was I genuinely didn't think they would look at it, care, or be able to do anything about it because the Michael's social media, including their Twitter, is very America-centric. A lot of times, a large company that is in multiple countries will have country-specific social media. So if you're in that particular country, you need to go to that particular website, social media, whatever, to have your problem dealt with. And I looked for on Michael's Canada anything other than the website. Everything was US-based. I wasn't so much tagging them to get their attention, so much as it was just to sort of call them out in general, because I genuinely didn't think that they would respond to me. I figured they go, well, you're in Canada, we're in the States, we can't do anything about it. Oh well. I just wanted to clarify that had I known that anybody from Michael's social media team was going to see that tweet and actually respond to it, I would have tempered my language. So I feel like that was probably what turned people off, and I wanted to apologize. Anyways, let's get into the actual point of this video, which is these goals. So I didn't use up too much in December just because it was taking me so long to get the albums that I'm still working on, but they're just about done. So I'm calling them done in December. It took me so long to get them done. So the only thing I could check off at all was that I have used some ribbon for closures on the mini albums that I'm working on. That's literally all I could check off in the December category. I did do a little bit of decluttering and organizing. Evernote I didn't use. That's a big goal for next year. I only got 3 videos up in December. Lower than my monthly goal, but again, I hit more than my monthly goal multiple times, so I'm okay with that. We're not going to talk about social media. Still only technically in 2 collabs, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Surprisingly, I didn't do any Etsy store work. The month just kind of went by. I guess because of the holidays and everything else, I don't know. As for other materials, I did finish off the big pack of, I think it was 40 paper bags. I started it in like January, February, doing Valentine's projects, and I finished it off with Christmas projects. I also used up 36 sheets of cardstock. Again, we're not going to talk about social media. No real progress on cleaning this month. Again, I had plans for the second half of the month, and they did not occur. And then adhesive, I used up 4 things of adhesive, and I did use up 1 Fisker's blade. And then in my final stuff I used up breakdown, I used up a roll of 1/4 inch score tape, a dot runner refill, the package of paper bags that was partially used, a 1/2 inch roll of score tape, the 1 Fisker's blade, and 1 ATG roll, and 36 sheets of cardstock. As for stuff I made in 2020, I finally finished off all those Halloween cards. I haven't done a project share because I'm just going to hold off on those until later dates. So I completed 124 A2 size Halloween cards, just they're still missing the white cardstock on the inside because they're on black cardstock. I also got 43 more A2 sized Halloween cards without white cardstock on the inside, but also missing like embellishments or sediments or whatever on the front, so that's what I have to come back to later. I got 2 Christmas paper bag albums complete, or just about. They'll be complete by the end of the year, and then 2 that are like starters, and I'll explain that more I think when I do the project share video, but basically they're a little scuffed and I have to fix them. And so I focused on the 2 that weren't scuffed and worked on finishing those. Crafty spending, I actually spent the most in 1 month than I had all year. I don't really know how that happened. Well, actually, I do know why that happened. I got my Amazon subscribe and save for 2 packages of ATG tapes, a pack of envelopes, and 1/2 inch score tape. And the price on the ATG and the envelopes freaking skyrocketed. So those 4 items came to $75.97. After tax. It's never usually that high. The ATG tapes were like 20 bucks a pop. They used to be like 8 bucks a pop. So that was on December 6th. On December 16th, I ordered from scrapbook.com, and the reason I went was to look for Undo because I'd seen a number of people, both in comments on my video about the black cardstock doing all the weird rippy stuff, and also just in videos I was watching with tutorials and things referring to Undo as being really helpful for when you stick something down and it won't come back up. And when I looked for it online, like in Canada, it was really expensive. It was actually cheaper to order it from scrapbook.com, even with the exchange, than it was to order it from Amazon, or the only other place I found it was Uline, and you had to order 2, and it was like 16 bucks each. After exchange, it was like 11.5 bucks on scrapbook.com. So then to make the shipping worth it, I ordered some items to go with the paper pad that I ordered a while back that I still can't talk about. I don't know why I still can't talk about it. Let's just say that there will be a time where talking about it will be okay. It's a positive thing that I'm not allowed to talk about. It doesn't involve me directly. It's in my family, and eventually, say sometime in February, I'll be able to discuss it. So scrapbook.com, it was $47.75 total. And then on Boxing Day, I ordered some items, again, having to do with the surprise that I'm not allowed to talk about. But I ordered from 2 Scrapbook Friends, which is another vendor that I had shopped at Scrapfest. They're not local per se, but they're in Ontario. And obviously I still bought a little too much, because after shipping it was $63.02. And then finally, I did count my lighter, because I did buy it specifically for crafting, and I'm sure that's partly what upped the the total. I just put down the price before taxes, which was $46.99, because I ordered 3 items. The tax on my order was significantly lower than it should have been if everything had tax on it, and in fact I think it was lower than what the tax would have been just on this item, so I'm like, okay, we'll just say it was that much. So my total for the month was the largest I've had in 1 month ever. It was $233.73, and my year total was $1,167.77. So looking at my wins and not so wins for 2020, the goal was to get faster and more efficient at making crafting decisions. I forgot to add also crafting itself. I was trying to get more efficient and faster at. The result was I've gotten more efficient at crafting and decisions, but faster, no. But I've gotten better at timing myself. The next goal was figure out how to better deal with scraps. The result is moving forward, big scraps that can be used quickly will get used. like in the moment. Everything else goes into the scrapbook. Final goal in this category was get ahead of myself with crafting videos. I was starting so strong. So strong. And then 2020 happened. And of course, despite writing a big wrap-up analysis, adding up of things, etc., I forgot to add up all the projects that I actually made, which was part of this whole thing. So I'm filming this part like hours after I filmed the rest of it. So in total, in 2020, I made 289 A2 size cards. I have 43 almost finished A2 size cards, 1 altered binder, 14 bookmarks, 25 brag books, 4 altered composition books, 20 embellishments, 18 favor boxes, 5 mini albums, 2 almost finished mini albums, and 77 other sized cards. So I think despite having creativity droughts here and there and struggling with getting some things done, that's a pretty good haul for the year. Next goal was use supplies instead of hoarding, and so I wrote down basically the year total of everything that I used up. I used up paper pads times 10, collections/kits times 7, loose paper times 25, card and envelopes sets times 2, 1 binder, file folders times 60, notepads times 4, ribbons or ribbon bundles times 7, 1 package of paper bags, 212 plus sheets of cardstock because I didn't start counting my cardstock till a few months into the year, 48 things of adhesive, 17 blades, and 8 that were just under the category of other. My only specific goal was to use up 6 paper pads and or collections/kits. I used 17. I think I succeeded. The next goal was to use the supplies I keep forgetting about. I was about 50-50 at that. Some I got some use out of for the first time in quite a while, others I still didn't touch at all, so it's just something I have to keep striving towards. The next goal was to continue my very low spend, and like I said, I spent $1,167.70 for the year, which sounds like a lot, but the average was $97.31 a month, so less than $100 a month. And honestly, I don't consider that particularly bad, considering that the price of everything has gone up, and a lot of stuff had to be ordered online for most of the year, whereas normally I would just go to like Dollarama or Dollar Tree and get cheap stuff there and not worry about buying stuff from Michael's or scrapbook.com or wherever. And then, like I said, my last goal in this category was to use up at least 6 paper pads or collections or kits, and I definitely did that. I almost tripled it. As far as like cleaning and organizing, I had the goal of getting my living and crafting spaces in order, and my result was it's a marathon, not a sprint. I definitely made a lot of progress, but I also have a lot more to get done. Same with make it easier to access my supplies. It's better than it was, but it still needs work. And create an inventory of my supplies and my projects. This is also a marathon and not a sprint. So my next goal was to post once a week on YouTube, so 52 videos for the year, and I came in at exactly 52 videos. I was ahead of myself a little bit earlier in the year, which ended up working out well for making up for the slowness at the end of the year, so I hit my goal exactly. Next goal, posting twice a week on Instagram and Facebook and branching out to other social media platforms. Let's not talk about that. The next goal was to join 3 collabs. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Etsy-wise, I kind of just smushed all the goals together because they're all interconnected, which was to prepare projects and de-stash items for sale, open an Etsy store, and reach other business goals. Oh look, another marathon. That is definitely going to be a hard goal for next year, particularly I would say in the first quarter. I'm looking at organizing goals both business-wise and life-wise in like a quarterly format and see if that helps, because I feel like maybe when I say I'm going to do it this year, well, a year's a long time. That I think was part of my problem was, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, and now it's gonna be 2021. And it is when you're watching this. And then the last goal was just to track my progress on goals and track my accomplishments and my spending. And the result was 31 pages and counting used to track everything. I do believe that is a success. So then I just did kind of a final wrap up. I want to continue increasing my efficiency when it comes to crafting and decision making. I need to figure out how to increase my speed. I'm a very slow crafter. I want to keep using my stash. That includes the stuff that I keep forgetting about. And then I just wrote roulette as a reminder to put that in my goals for next year. I'll explain that in my goals for next year. And then to continue my no/low spend, then I want to continue cleaning, decluttering, and organizing, prioritize ease of access of supplies. The easier I can reach it, the more I'll use it, and continue cataloging with Evernote. I want to keep consistent with 1 video a week at least, focus on getting consistent with 1 social media platform at a time, and try again for 3 collabs. And I said I want to open the Etsy store in Q1, first quarter of the year. I want to get the store open. And then finally streamline my tracking systems. I have talked about that, how I was way too ambitious with what I was tracking and how I was tracking it this year, and I want to streamline that so that it's not taking up 31 plus pages. The word for the month was praise. I really just want to praise everyone that was involved in this collab. I want to thank Amalia for putting it together and allowing me to participate. I know I wasn't the most social, which has been a big issue all year for me, so I wasn't quite as active on people's videos as I would have liked. I really have enjoyed everyone's videos and content, and I found some new people that I will continue to follow outside of this collab. I'm proud of everybody. Everybody has done great. Some people did have to drop out of the collab through the year due to other commitments or whatever, and I still think they deserve praise for even trying. I'm gonna praise myself for actually sticking with it for the whole year, because you may have noticed, if you've been following this for the last year, I'm squirrely. So the fact that I was able to do this at all, I'm very proud of, and I'm going to praise myself, but I also want to praise everyone else that was involved. This was really great. I am definitely going to be doing this again next year because I've really enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please check out everyone else who is involved in the collab. They are linked below, as they always are. Again, thank you to everyone else who participated. Thank you to Amalia for putting this together and allowing me to participate. Really enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the new year. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!